Hari Om Tat Sat. Welcome to Swami Jyotirmayananda Society, our journey to self-realization. Please subscribe our channel for the mystical meanings and to enjoy daily satsang. We are currently exploring Srimad Bhagavad Gita, commentaries by Swami Jyotirmayananda Maharaj, narrated by myself, Swami Nikhilananda. We are currently on chapter number 6, Yoga of Wisdom, and today we will be starting shloka number 31, where Lord is sharing deep, profound, mystical secrets with Arjuna on how to attain self-realization and how to stay in that state of bliss and peace. God continues, Sarva Bhuta Sthitam Yo Mam Bhajyate Katvama Sthitaha Sarvatha Vartamano Api Sayogi Mai Vartate. If one worships me as pervading in all beings with the vision of oneness, then whatever work he may do, he ever abides in me. So here God is further confirming what he discussed in last shloka, that if you worship God with all your heart, how do you do that? By seeing everyone as God's creation, even your enemies, good and bad, with equanimity and with a sense of oneness. Then you can do whatever work you do. You are abiding in me, God says. Why? Because this is God's world and we are respecting his creation and not having our own whims of hatred and likes and dislikes and so on. So God says, if you are a serious yogi, a devoted person, then you consider everything as my creation and you have equanimity. You don't have preferences, love for some people, hatred for others, and so on. That is the deeper meaning of this shloka. Moving on to shloka number 31. Atmaupamyena sarvatra samam pashyati yo Arjuna sukham va yadi va dukkham sayogi paramo mataha. Lord says, O Arjuna, he is considered the highest yogi who feels for others, whether in pain or pleasure, even as he would feel for himself, who has become the self in all. So God further confirms that state, being having equanimity and being above pleasure and pain by no means implies being insensitive or being above um, emotions. That is not spirituality. Spirituality is knowing fully well that the world is unreal, yet you go through others' pain as your own and you show empathy, love, caring, and consideration. And so, if somebody is in pain, you relieve their pain. If somebody is joyful, you add to their joy. You smile and radiate happiness. And why? Because you're seeing the self. Whatever you want, you are seeing in others. There is no jealousy, no anger, no hatred, no. So imagine that state. Imagine if a few people in the world are like that, who are giving their lives to spreading this message of love. Then there would be peace and happiness and joy. And instead of making the world a better place, let's start with ourselves. If we become better, then everybody who comes into our aura, our circle, will also become better by through the fragrance, through the radiance, through your quality of life, through how you react with things. So that will become a natural process. Beautifully, Lord is explaining all these things. And now Arjuna is asking a question. He has been listening very patiently. Arjuna Vacha. Yoayam yogastvaya प्रोक्तः साम्येन मधुसूदन एतस्याहं न पश्यामि चञ्चलत्वा स्थितं स्थिराम्. Arjuna asked, O Madhusudana, Krishna, the destroyer of demon Madhu, I do not see how it is possible to maintain the steady state of yogic equanimity which you have taught. The mind is ever so restless. Chanchalam hi manah Krishna pramathi balamadranam tasyaham nigraham manye vayoriva sudushkaram. Verily, O Krishna, the mind is fickle, impetuous, powerful, and turbulent. To me, it seems as difficult to control the mind as to control the wind. So, Arjuna has done us a big favor and asked these questions on our behalf, because Lord Krishna is saying, tell your intellect to control the mind, take your mind from the outside, go within, and understand and enjoy the bliss. But Arjuna says, how? The mind does not want to listen to us. It is very powerful and it keeps on agitating us. It is fickle, powerful, and turbulent. So, like a boat, when the strong winds come, the boat can capsize or it goes in a different direction altogether, no matter how hard the sailor is trying. Much in the same way, Arjuna is saying the same thing, that, oh God, you say control the mind. Easy for you to say, you are God, but what do we do? How do we do it? Beautiful question. So, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Now, God will answer this beautiful question, because many of us struggle with it. Mind is nothing but a bundle of thoughts, and the thoughts never stop. So, therefore, the question is very valid. God continues, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, Asanchayam Mahabaho Mano Durnigraham Chalam Abhyasena tu Konteya Vairagyena cha Griyate. Lord Krishna said, indeed, the mind is restless and difficult to control, but it can be brought under control by the practice of abhyasa, repeated effort, and vairagya, dispassion, O son of Kunti. So beautifully, God is answering. He's saying, look, I wholeheartedly agree with you. God is not saying that this is an easy process. He says, mind, of course, is restless and also difficult to control. God gives Arjuna that, he acknowledges it. But he says it can be brought, it's not impossible. It's certainly hard, but not impossible. Therefore, if you do abhyasa, meaning repeated effort, just like you didn't give up when you were a baby, you are now walking, running, doing everything, but you were crawling then, and you would try to stand up and your legs were not strong enough. You would fall, stand up, fall, stand up, fall, and you kept on doing it till you eventually gathered strength, and from each fall you learned something, how to balance yourself a little bit better, etc. And the same thing happens when you do anything in life. It takes consistent practice, whether it's learning how to ride a bicycle or playing an instrument. With repeated practice, it keeps getting better. That is Lord Krishna's point. He says, if you do this to your mind also, you will certainly bring it under control. But not only just abhyasa, also vairagya. And this is where most people miss that point. Vairagya means dispassion from the world. So if all your senses, mind, intellect, and your inner within is totally rajas, into worldly things, then even sitting for 5 minutes, 10 minutes of sadhana is very difficult for you, because the mind is quickly wanting it to be over, and you are as if you have finished a chore. But it doesn't become a chore anymore for serious devotees. They enjoy the process, they want it to linger on, but that's a higher state, and with practice it will come. So here God is very clearly saying dispassion is also required on this path. Otherwise, you are not a qualified aspirant. You are an aspirant, but you are in the earlier rungs, like initial stages, kindergarten level. Then you graduate and you keep moving onwards. But dispassion has to come, where what that means is that look at the transience in the world process, look at your body and ask yourself, how long will it stay like this? And we are growing older every day. So once dispassion comes, it becomes easier for us to argue and understand uh, with the mind. We have to argue with the mind, educate the mind, explain to it why it is better for us to be on this holy path, on this path of peace and tranquility, rather than running around in the world which can give you nothing. Ultimately we go, even the body is discarded. That is what God is trying to clarify. And then moving on to the next shloka, number 36. असंयतात्मना योगो दुष्प्राप इति मे मतिः वशयात्मना तु यतता शक्यो आवाप्तुमुपायातः. It is my opinion that yoga is difficult for anyone who is lacking self control, but it can be attained by one who has mastered his lower self if he adopts the proper means. So, here God is giving a very beautiful, very straightforward answer that is a guidance to all of us, that we all need self control. If we don't control the senses, don't control the mind, let the intellect do whatever it wants, it's like a chariot going into a ditch instead of going into the destination. So therefore self control is needed in all dimensions of our life, whether it is eating or working or indulging into pleasures or whatever. Moderation is required. That's what God says. Yoga is not for someone who eats a lot or sleeps a lot. Balance is the key word. So, self control is the essential skill that is needed. Through discipline, it comes. But you have to master the lower self first. That's why we had read the previous shloka, Uddharet Atma Atmanatmanam. Lift your lower self by your higher self, and we have covered that. What is the lower self? All these feelings of worldly entanglements, anger, hatred, jealousy, um, greed, lust, passion, all these things have to be mastered. And how will they be mastered? When we rise above them and use the proper means, meaning join satsang and do your japa, do your bhajan, kirtan, and then attend satsangs like this where you are getting deeper insights and knowledge. And then that is the way for progressing on this spiritual path. So Arjuna is furthering his question. He will ask, which we will cover in tomorrow's satsang. I hope you are enjoying these profound teachings that are very helpful to all aspirants who are seriously walking on this path. This is Swami Nikhilananda. Hari Om Tat Sat.